Eshan Pieris needs no introduction. He's a racing talent hailing from Sri Lanka. You are now very famous for GT racing and also go-karting.
Yes, yeah, well, it's been a long journey. I think, every racing driver anyway, they all start from karting. So, it's been a massive learning experience in karting, especially starting off a little bit later than most of the other drivers. So I started when I was around 14, 15 years old. So, yeah, and then now we're here with the GT World Challenge coming up. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the past.
Sure.
What was your life growing up, and you come from a family with an incredible racing legacy.
Yeah.
How did that influence your life?
So I think a lot of the enthusiasm and passion is shared with my father. He was very, very prominent in the early 70s and up until, I would say, for that period, for that decade or so, he obviously was very much involved in motor racing. So then now with me, we definitely share that enthusiasm. And then growing up as well, it was something that we used to spend a lot of our time speaking about, watching F1 together, like when I was very young. And then, but I think with him, like we always used to do these kind of things. Like it was always like out of the norm sort of activities. Like I grew up in Panadura next to Bogota Lake. So we used to go fishing all the time. So it was a lot of this kind of outdoor sort of activity-based bonding opportunities, if that makes sense. So when I went to Speedrome and then started to take part in the events and stuff, it obviously kind of thrived from there. And then now I'm where I am. Yeah.
So when did you realize, okay, this is not something I just enjoy, but something I want to do professionally?
Oof. I think for this question, I actually, my parents gave me the opportunity to pick on whether I wanted to do this on a more serious level. And then what they did was because I had to fly overseas for all my racing, so it was a problem with school. So then what my father told me was, he's like, look, I'll give you the support you need, and you can leave school, but you still have to obviously do all your exams or whatever. But then you'll have to homeschool yourself. So I'm not allowing you to not get educated, but then I'll allow you to be in a position where you can do both. That was kind of the turning point. I think when I left St. Thomas's to pursue a more serious opportunity in motor racing, I'd say that was sort of the turning point where I was like, okay, like this is obviously not like just a pastime anymore, and it's definitely a lot more serious than that.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so tell me about winning the X30 senior class in the Macau International.
Okay, so that was actually it was my second attempt. So my first time going to race in Macau, I was leading the final until like maybe the last 3-4 laps, and then I was overtaken. I had to settle for second. So I was extremely determined to go back the following year and win, which I did. But no, it was a very special moment because I think this was about the time where I was racing in Formula 4, and I had debuted in the event and I had been on the podium. So then going back to Macau straight after that, and then coming away with the win, it was like, wow, it's great when you have back-to-back successes like that, and coming from like Formula cars and then back into go-kart and still being able to perform. Obviously, it's a great feeling. And then the Macau Kart Grand Prix is also still quite a famous event amongst the karting sort of industry. And just to be able to say that, I actually won it at one point is obviously makes me feel good about myself, and I'm very proud.
Absolutely.
That I have this result as well. Yeah.
Okay. And you're the first Sri Lankan to win fiercely competitive go-karting championship.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience. That must have been amazing too.
I mean, for sure, being able to get these kind of results, of course, when you put in the hard work behind it, just being able to set yourself up to be able to do this as competitively as I do and to come away with results definitely is a great feeling. But also on top of that, I think, there are so few Sri Lankans competing in this kind of industry at this level. So for sure, there is that sort of underdog mentality where, you are kind of against the odds in some sense because there are so few of us out there. So definitely to be able to compete, especially with some of the guys who've been in the industry for much longer. So even for me, when I first started out, to get even close to podiums and then be on podiums and then compete for wins, compete for titles, it shows that I've come a long way in such a short amount of time, which is great, against all odds. So that underdog sort of feeling is, it is special.
So tell us about your recent success at the Sepang 12 Hours.
Well, so this is actually my first endurance race in a GT platform, and it was also my first time racing with the 911. I had 2 years of experience with Audi in TSS, so to jump in the Porsche was obviously a huge dynamic shift in terms of the driving as well. So that was definitely a challenge, but I think we have a strong team backing us, and both my teammates as well did a fantastic job. So to come away with this result definitely feels really, really good. I think I went into the weekend knowing that I was going to give it my best, and my teammates also did a fantastic job. So I'm very, very happy that things went smoothly. We didn't have any issues with the car, and for me as well, qualifying and then in the race especially, we really kind of upped our game as a team. And amazing. I'm really happy with the result, actually. Yeah.
So you're not only racing, but you're also part of speedbay, Pearl Bay, and all of that. How do you balance everything? I feel like there's such a lot on your plate.
with great difficulty. No, I mean, I think for me, when it comes to speedbay, I really want to give a lot of credit to the team, my management team. So it's come to a stage now where I do empower junior staff to make decisions and take initiative. So I think this is something that also, typical corporate culture doesn't always leave a lot of room for. But then for me, I kind of go against the grain in that sense, and then obviously allow it, and thankfully it's paid off. So definitely I'm really grateful for my management team, and while I'm away, I think I am still involved with the business, so we do have regular meetings to see how things are going, and I'm very much still in touch with everyone that's here while I'm on tour. And then whenever I'm in Sri Lanka, of course, most of my time goes towards the business and for marketing, for sales, and what more things we can do for the racing community in Sri Lanka. Speedbay is very much involved in having a significant presence in motorsports in Sri Lanka and playing a role in developing grassroots level motorsports. So it is a big challenge, actually, especially with the mindset shift from sports athletes to then trying to grow a business. It is a lot, but so far I think it's been great. It's been stressful but good.
I'm sure there's loads of memorable moments. What stands out to you?
Positive or?
Positive.
Positive.
Certainly positive.
Yeah. I think one of my highlights are the F3 win. So in the Asian Winter Series, I won the last race of the championship, and it was still for me. It's such a good memory of what I was able to achieve for the country as well. I don't think anyone had this kind of achievement, and like just like the podium was on the F1 podium in Malaysia. They played the national anthem, which I don't think has happened in a Formula race before, especially at that level with like an FIA level. So definitely still stands out today. And the grid, I mean, there were some big names as well. Some of them are some of them were F1 juniors back then, and they are now like reserve drivers and stuff like that. So the level was definitely up there. Yeah.
Certainly, there are many youth aspiring to be who you are today.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
So I think Sri Lanka now, compared to when I started racing, has so much more going on. Like, there's so much of sim racing, like simulator racing opportunities. There's a lot of that, and then obviously, we have speedbay as well now. We organize many events throughout the year, so the opportunities to start racing and to be exposed to competition and be a part of everything that motorsports has to offer in Sri Lanka has never been as good as it is right now. So I would say whatever event that you can be a part of, get involved. Make friends, come for the races, go watch the races that are happening if you have the time, and that's honestly the best way to get started. And karting obviously is the foundation of motorsports. You learn so much driving race cars. So definitely come and take part, I would say. Don't be afraid of doing badly. Everybody starts somewhere, and so definitely just get involved.
That's excellent advice. So racing wise, what's next for you?
So we have GT World Challenge coming up. It's a very, very long season. So compared to Sepang 12 hours, the format of racing is different. It's a 1-hour race event with a pit stop in the middle, including a driver change. And we start the season off in Malaysia again, and then we go to Thailand. We go to Japan after that for 3 tours, and then we finish the season in Shanghai. So this is probably the biggest and most prestigious GT racing event in the world, I would say. This is the Asian regional event, but GT World Challenge as a whole is one of the big ones out there. So definitely a step up for me in my career, and I'm signed on for TSS again for a 3rd year now, and I have about 12 or 13 tours coming up, so it's a long year for sure. It's a lot of racing, but super excited, feeling motivated, and ready to take on the season.
Lovely. So final question.
Yeah.
So what's next for Eshan Pieris?
So, next weekend I fly off for GT World Challenge Round 1. So it's the start of the big season that I've been waiting for, and it's just a matter of putting my best foot forward, and hopefully we bring home some wins. Yeah,
certainly. So wishing you all the best.
Thank
for
you
that.
so much.
And
Thank
we're
you.
all very excited to follow your journey and see where racing takes you next.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time.
Thanks
Eshan.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, absolutely.